What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Woodshed, and today we're going over, is the Root Rider still viable? That's right. You guys heard me here right. Today we're going over Root Riders, and after two nerfs since my last tutorial on them, which was my second to most recent video before I took my break, the Root Riders have got two nerfs, and spoiler alert, they're still very, very usable. And I'm going to show you guys really quickly on how we're doing it. We're doing a little update, I don't know if you want to call it another tutorial, but like an update on how you should still do it. It's very similar to how I described it before, how they've been nerfed before, and so when they get nerfed, the margin for error decreases, right? So there's so much little room for error, and now that's kind of a similar principle to where, by the way, hope you enjoyed the new intro. I forgot to mention that this is the first one with the new intro. I'm excited for it. But yeah, so the margin of error becomes much, much smaller now with the new nerf. But let's get into a couple of attacks so you guys can see what they really look like. And if you haven't seen my streams, my strategy has changed briefly from the last one we've seen. So let's go ahead and get into some of the replays. All right. Replay number one, right? We're going with one of the teaser style bases here. Keep in mind, these are all done in Myths Legends League, so right in that 5,500-ish range. Trophies where all these were done, and we're going to go over one or two that were in war also. But this is a base you see pretty commonly, right? You see the Town Hall towards the edge. You see an eagle fairly far within it, not quite in the center, but very close to the core of the base. And then you have the actual core, which is going to have stuff like the monolith, the scatters all around it, right? The X-bows, the multis, the multi-archer towers, right? All the annoying stuff, even the double spell towers here. So I'm going to show you guys how I went about picking apart this base. To no surprise, guys, we are Valkyrie going to be on this side right here where my mouse is, and so Valkyrie's down here to kind of start setting up a funnel. I'm also going to siege barracks here right on this one, gold mine here in the middle. That way I kind of have an open spot so my Root Riders can open up the base for the P.E.K.K.A.s and the Wizards and the Valkyries that are still there. And as my Root Riders start to make their way to the base, my king actually gets pulled over to one of the other heroes over here. And they make pretty quick work of that. Thankfully, my Root Riders continue just to move through the base. And you'll notice I'm using an Overgrowth specifically on the Eagle. And some of the stuff around it, because I kind of want to push my stuff in towards the base, right? And I'm mostly going to use my Overgrowth, for one, to get rid of stuff that's going to be a little on the annoying side. But two, to help guide my troops in a lot of these ways, right? So before it was mostly to take apart strong sections and kind of divide them up, and I still do that a little bit. That's kind of what I'm doing here, but I'm also using it as a guide, right? So I actually originally wanted a couple of my troops, mainly my Archer Queen, who is over here, to go for the Town Hall. She did, but the rest of my troops are actually over here, and even my King's actually going on the outside. He's going for a little bit of a walk. I still do have my Root Riders in the middle there. As long as my King goes back, I have a good chance at actually taking out this base. And see, this is what I'm talking about when splitting up the compartments, right? And making sure you can kind of pick apart the strong parts. So I hit the Eagle again, but I hit the other side, and I got rid of a multi-inferno, I got rid of a palm tower, I got rid of a ricochet, I got rid of a builder's hut, right? So I got rid of some mildly annoying stuff, right? At this point, somewhere around here, I'm going to realize that there's actually a clan castle tearing my stuff apart right there, and I do pop it right there. My queen's going to come up, and she's actually going to help take care of that Electro Titan. Thank the Lord I was running the Frost Arrow on my queen right there, so she gave me a lot of value. I did put in the RC late. I have been saving her later and later for some of these, and I've changed my equipment on her from the Hog Puppet and the Haste Vial to the Royal Gem and the Hog Puppet. The Royal Gem, just that extra boost of health, gives her a second life. It is very, very nice. Right here, I'm going to actually see, and I'm splitting it up again, right? So I'm leaving some strong stuff out that I can take out at that moment, and I'm getting rid of some stuff that I think will make it overwhelming, like the Ricochet Cannon. That's the biggest part to it, right? And one of the Expos, although I was more concerned about the Ricochet Cannon. Those things get very, very annoying very, very quickly. RC's coming over here. She's helped clean it up. I did put an Archer and a Goblin over here to help clean up. I am saving a Wizard as well, just to help clean up. But at this point, I mean, I still have my Queen's ability. At this time, I was running the Frost Arrow and the Magic Mirror. So this one is going to be a relatively easy 3-star after everything's all said and done. Just need to gut those last couple things. And like I said, the Ricochet Cannon by itself, the Expos by themselves, not very strong. But when paired with the other things, they get pretty annoying. So this one, not a whole lot to it. I did use the Wizard down here anyway, just to kind of help clean up a little bit quicker. and the rest of the base is just history, right? So nothing super complicated there, but there's just less room for error. As you can see, there's no Root Riders left. I'm down to heroes and a couple of cleanup things, even though I had a lot of health from my heroes, right? So I still had a little bit of room, but didn't have a lot of room. Let's go to another example, though. So here is another really good example, right? This is a base that's a little bit different. This is one I also see relatively frequently, where I'm seeing the Eagle on one side, I'm seeing the Town Hall in the middle, paired with a bunch of stuff in the middle, like the Monolith, like the double poison towers, like the double scatter shots. So that middle, that core right there for me is so annoying. I'm going to Valkyries up on the top again, start the funnel on either side. I'm actually going to use my first Overgrowth to kind of set my funnel so my Root Riders all stay together and everything kind of breaking that middle compartment with the Eagle Artillery. That's very, very important that I have all of my everything kind of sticking together for this first part to get rid of that Eagle and kind of get that out of the way pretty quickly. Now, my hope here at this moment was that I would have Root Riders kind of cut into the middle, so my King could go to the middle and I could hit Giant Gauntlet and I could flatten the middle. Just point blank, that's the hope here. Doesn't quite work that way. I do hit my poison as all their things start to kind of open up there, but my troops, a lot of them are starting to kind of cycle around on this side. This is not the time to panic. There's still time for me to fix it. I'm hitting the Monolith and some of these other things like the Inferno and the Grand Warden Tower down here, because I'm thinking my troops will get around here and start to cut into there, and I want them to be able to cut into here right around the time this Monolith comes. And my thought process is get into the Monolith that time, hit all this stuff so I can kind of deal with that individually, and deal with that from there. I'm still actually saving my RC at this point, and I don't even quite get the pull that I want in the middle. So what I'm kind of forced to do is to Overgrowth that again, let my Queen take the Town Hall, and I actually do make a little bit of a misplay here where my Queen actually takes all the brunt. The Magic Mirror is what ends up coming up and giving me a little bit extra value from them, but it's a level 23 Magic Mirror, so it's not nearly as strong as I would like it or need it to be, although it does have the Unicorn on it, so it's going to provide some extra value. I do have the RC at the top, because actually I saved a Rage spell for, and I do freeze the Scatter Shot and the Poison Tower, because I don't want that Poison Tower to come back up. If it comes back up, I'm screwed at this point, right? Hit the Giant Gauntlet, hoping that my King can take out all that stuff and not die to that Monolith right away. I was very fortunate, very lucky. He doesn't right away. My RC gets hit. She uses her ability. The Hog Puppet actually helps me take care of the Wizard Tower and the Monolith, which is basically what's going to seal the deal for me here. There's not going to be a whole lot left, and this is what I'm talking about with room for error, right? So, like, if I'd have messed that up anymore, I would have had a couple of Hogs. If I'd have messed this up anymore, I wouldn't have gotten it, right? Because look how little's left. I have a P.E.K.K.A., I have my Royal Champion, and I have a random Yeti. I almost didn't get this one, right? This one was just so close. Got very, very lucky here that one misstep for my Queen going in the middle did not get me killed. Let's try and take a look at one more. Now this one, and our last one, is from our very own Buck QH, another leader for the Woodshed. Shout out to Buck. Love that guy. He's going to be our last attack. He does get a nice base that is very clumped up in the middle. He's in the same range. He's slightly lower in Legends League than I am, that 53-5400 area. But still shows us a pretty nice example here. He uses Raged Barbarians instead of Valkyries. He does actually still use some Valkyries, but not nearly as many. So he really likes his Raged Barbarians for some reason. He uses those in the King to help funnel. He's going to poison the Clan Castle troops and hope that his King can take care of them. He's also going to actually set another funnel too with his Siege Barrack and some more Barbarians over on this side. He's going to send in his Root Riders towards the middle. He's probably going to drop an Overgrowth right here on that Invis and that Town Hall, if I had to guess. He typically leaves the Town Hall for last. I'm sending in the Root Rider, sending in his heroes, hoping they meet up with his King, and he gets lucky, and they do. He also sends in all his Valkyries right there. So there he goes. The Invis actually drops. He's going to hit his Warden ability, I imagine, pretty soon, and then he's going to hit the hit one of his Overgrowth spells right there. There we go. One Overgrowth. He only uses 2. I use 3. He hits his Warden ability there. Keeps his troops nice and safe through the core of the base. So if you're not going to use it to funnel and kind of split up the strong sections like I do, you need to use it like this, and you need to use your Warden ability to get through the hardest parts of the base. So he's essentially running through and ignoring the gut of the base that he needs, the Town Hall, but there's not a lot he's saving in it, right? So he's leaving a Scatter Shot. There's a couple of There's a couple of builder huts in there, and then there's the town hall. But he's using the overgrowth to kind of help support him through the middle of the base while ignoring the town hall, so he has more troops left over at the end, right? The issue is that the town hall is some of the hardest things to do, and it's kind of risky playing the town hall for the very end, because if you don't get it, you don't get the 2-star, right? You don't get the 3-star. You get 1 star and you're screwed, right? And that's just angry. But Buck seems to have really, really good success with doing this. He's having little to no issues here. He's having a ton of great cleanup. And I mean, he's just absolutely eating them alive. He's actually swagged 2 spells. He might purposely save those for the town hall, for that hard part of the base, right? I think he does, and like he his troops have just stopped. He's probably going to drop his rage down there just so everything kind of runs through pretty quickly. He'll drop his freeze, although he doesn't really need it because he still has his queen and the queen's ability. Mirror, and it does make sense to me. He flattens the base. Little to no problems. Good attack by Buck. So let's go get some final thoughts. So, final thoughts, pretty simple. Root Riders are absolutely still effective. Even with the nerfs they've had and the nerfs the overgrowth spells have had, they are absolutely still really, really strong. And you can use them. There's just not nearly as much room for error. So, you know, it's one of those things that you start to notice and you have to tighten up your attacks a lot more. Otherwise, you are screwed. And then you realize that when you have a 60-70% 2-star and you've messed it up, you know. So, it's definitely something that is getting harder to use, but is definitely still very, very viable. I hope this helped you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, and let me know what you guys think of the new intro/outro. I'm going to use it as the outro too for now. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you guys hopefully on the next stream, the next video. Thanks everybody.